Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. And hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So, if you're not aware, I'm having all kinds of internet issues here at the Hut. So I had to be sort of sneaky and get some Wi-Fi somewhere else to get these websites up. Just so I can give you the best job I can do here at the Baseball Hut 2. But hopefully by tomorrow afternoon we'll be completely back, full power. When the cable guy comes, you know, believe it or not, you didn't think you would have these kind of problems in 2025, but I do. But I was lucky enough, or lucky enough to not have to watch this game on Sunday between the Mets and the Giants, and obviously the Mets have played really well. They won 7 in a row. But I was not able to watch this game, and I guess the broadcast was really bad. The only guy in that broadcast that I really like is David Cohn, to be honest with you. And people are not too happy. I have a relative who doesn't like Karl Ravech. He just doesn't like him. You know, he's the play-by-play man, and some people, and he's a Yankee fan, by the way. There's some people that did not like Ravech's calls in the game last night on Sunday. He's okay, in my opinion. He's okay. But the thing about ESPN, to get distracted with having to talk to the players on the field, enough of that nonsense. And do we really need 3 people in the booth? I will say this: thank God it's not John Smoltz in that booth. He's got a couple of guys in that booth with, Eduardo Perez and Coney have a pulse. Now, let me read from off announcement, and there is actually a little more to this from Karl Ravech. He even admits that some people don't like his work. He tries not to say it, but he says it. Mets fans take issue with Karl Ravech's lackluster home run calls. Called a generally horrible home run call and a game-tying splash hit. Joe Davis might embrace a little tribalism in Major League Baseball, but the mindset usually comes with a predictable side effect of fans who think national announcers don't like their team. Davis, Adam Amin, Karl Ravech, John Boog Sciambi, Wayne Randazzo, pretty much any announcer on a national stage is going to catch flack, but not sounding excited enough when insert team does something good. Wayne Randazzo's great. No issues there. It's just part of the job. Ask Joe Buck. So no, the Karl Raveches of the world don't secretly hate your favorite team, but in this case, Mets fans may have a legitimate gripe with the voice of Sunday Night Baseball after views of his home run calls. And while I am a Mets fan, the writer, and often a full-fledged ambassador for the SNY booth, this isn't about Gary, Keith, and Ron. Sure. You see who wrote this. I don't normally see this. Sam Newman. Who the hell is Sam Newman? I don't care. The hell's Sam Newman? Full ambassador. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. This isn't about Gary, Keith, and Ron. Make sure Mets fans would love to hear that beloved trio all 162 games, but that's not how national broadcasts work. Mets are on national TV as often as any major market team, and if the rainout wiped out their Wednesday night baseball slot prior to the All-Star break, ESPN slotted in Sunday's Mets-Giants matchup in San Francisco instead. It looked like the right call by the worldwide leader, Mets delivered in a big spot as Ronnie Mauricio tied the game with a splash hit into McCovey Cove. And a few batters later, Juan Soto gave them a lead with a solo shot of his own, both coming in the top of the 7th off Randy Rodriguez, one of the best relievers in baseball. And the ninth, Edwin Diaz made it interesting, but escaped by striking out Willie Adames and Matt Chapman. The bases loaded to lock down the sweep and extend New York's win streak to 7. I would mention, I was listening to them on the radio, like I said. Matt Chapman had no shot against Edwin Diaz. He struck out 200 times in his career. He had no shot. It was one of the better games of the season, had all the makings of a signature moment, but Ravech's call of Mauricio's game-tying homer fell far short of doing it justice. The 24-year-old rookie went 4 for 4, and his 398-foot blast was a no-doubter from the moment it left the bat. The only question was whether it would stay fair. Mauricio may have paused to watch it clear the foul pole, or foul line, or fair pole. Channeling his inner Carlton fist, but Ravech certainly made the call feel underwhelming for a game-time blast. Look, when these guys come in and they do these games, they don't really do enough work. They don't do enough talking and studying about what's going on. But that's beside the point. And while we already seen announcers struggle with the fair or foul call early in the weekend, this one wasn't exactly and quite as egregious, but the hesitation from the booth still undercut the excitement the moment probably deserved. Read a couple. This is from Jolly Olive. This guy is a great YouTuber and he decided to go work for somebody else. You want to be independent, folks. Be independent, you can do whatever you want. I know everyone takes turns shitting on Sunday Night Baseball's broadcast for good reason, but the two Karl Ravech home run calls tonight on game time and go-ahead home runs were probably the worst calls I've ever heard. I've heard all year. Now, I would mention, this is the 7th. I thought his calls were fine from what I heard. I thought his calls were fine. You know, it's the 7th inning. It's not the 9th inning. This was the 9th inning, and he was underwhelmingly. Sean Finesi, a genuinely horrible home run call on a game-tying splash hit. It's not the 9th inning. Phil, this is one of these dingbats from Barstool Sports. Meek Phil, Chris Carey had a better home run call than whatever Karl Ravech just did. These are all known people. These are all known Met fans that just want attention. Such complaints are nothing new. We get it. Local fans are upset that the national. These aren't fans. These are people in the industry. These are people that are that skulk around the teams. What the hell are they talking about? You know, this is silly. And this is the 7th inning. This isn't about piling on. Karl Ravech has been vocal about his commitment to ESPN's baseball coverage and the sport's future on the network. But there's been enough solid criticism, not just from fans, but from multiple media voices, granted many with Mets ties, that it's hard to dismiss entirely. And while this shouldn't be seen as an opportunity to punch down at Sunday Night Baseball as the league sorts out its next media partner, that call was the cherry on top of an evening already marred by broadcast mishaps. Like how they mentioned how Francisco Lindor's been with the Mets since 2001. How old was he? 6 years old? No wonder why his numbers weren't that good. Besides that, you know, it's the 7th inning. I mean, let's be honest. It's the 7th inning. It's not the 9th inning. It's the 7th inning. I didn't think there was anything wrong with those calls. Now, there is sort of a response here. I can understand there was not a lot of enthusiasm in the booth, because I guess that Mr. Met, a whole bunch of these all these different mascots were hanging around the booth during the home run calls. So I guess it didn't really, I guess maybe he felt uncomfortable having them there. Let me read you again. This is again from local announcing. This is what Ravech had to say. This is a headline. Karl Ravech knows baseball fans prefer local announcers. We completely understand you miss your own broadcast. Now, they've said this plenty of times when the Mets have been on, because the Mets have the best broadcasts. SNY has the best broadcast, and they're the best broadcast in baseball. If you notice that all the teams now do this sort of, where they had the camera on the broadcast, that started with the Mets, started at SNY. I will say this, the Wilpons still own SNY, but they do a great job when it comes to the broadcast. Give them credit on something. Thank God they don't own the team anymore, but they do a great job with the broadcast. They always did. Going back 5 years or whatever. Even Karl Ravech knows the fans tune into ESPN for Sunday Night Baseball would prefer to be listening to their own announcers. When national broadcasters admitted they can't compete with teams' local announcers, maybe it's time for MLB and its media rights partners to figure out a new approach to calling games. Get broadcasters from both teams. So say if the Mets play a home game, you have Gary Cohen do the broadcast, be the main broadcaster, and get a color analyst, say from the Giants, maybe get Mike Krukow. To me, that makes a lot more sense. And you know, you're not going to have great chemistry there because they don't know each other. Or you could have the Giants main guy and the Giants main guy, and have Keith Hernandez work in the booth with them, or Ronnie. I think that would be fine. Ronnie would be good. Joe Buck recently admitted he understands why fans prefer the home announcers over a national broadcast. And Sunday night on ESPN, Ravech co-signed the sentiment. See, that's what they should. I don't need to read about this. I mean, they talked about this. Dwayne Kuiper. But this is what they could do. I mean, even with Michael, or say Mets play the Yankees, and it's at Yankee Stadium, you could have Michael Kay do the broadcast, and maybe have Ronnie in there, or Keith. You know, I mean, that would make the most sense, and it's fair to both teams, and nationally, you get a taste of what other teams are listening to. and what other teams have. I would mention that probably the worst broadcast is probably the Tigers broadcast. And I think the Oakland A's, again, the Tigers broadcast was boring. I think they're trying to, make it funny and yuck it up, but they're not funny. And of course, the weird one is in Oakland, with that weirdo Dallas Braden, that goofball, Braden Dallas, what the hell his name is, the guy with the beard. Looks like he's from Al Qaeda. I mean, I shouldn't say it. I mean, really, you ever seen this guy? You ever seen that guy? He looks like a member of Al Qaeda. But anyway, that ain't right. But I would mention that this is always going to be a complaint. And I think maybe the best thing you do is just take a broadcast from one team and take another broadcast from another team, and maybe have a third guy in the booth that's a network guy. That's what I would do. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.